Cam Newton and Carolina suffered a 27-21 loss to Washington as they fell below 500. Cam did score 3 total touchdowns and also had a big celebration at midfield after a long rushing touchdown in the middle of the game. So, Shannon, did you like the celebration or have a problem with it?
I didn't like it. I thought it was a bit too much. I thought it was a look-at-me moment. They brought Cam in the middle of a playoff picture, and Cam made that moment about him. If he wanted to take all of his teammates, I probably would have been a little more accepting of it had he brought all of his teammates. Yep. Skip, it's like when you get the guy get an interception and he call, hey, come on, boy, let's get the shot. Let's get in front of the camera. Hey, you get a touchdown and you get all your thing together. But that wasn't the time. And I've been Cam's biggest supporter from the day he stepped foot in the NFL. But I did not like this because at this time it's not about you right now, Cam. Your team is smack dab in the middle of a playoff run. Smack dab in the middle of a playoff run. And to take that time, that opportunity right there is that I didn't like it. I didn't think it was called for. I didn't think it was necessary at that moment. You could have, put the ball down the end zone, did your Superman thing, but just to run to the middle of the field, no, I didn't like that at all. I thought Cam played really well yesterday, considering that the man had been out of football for the beginning of the season. Yep. He came back last week against, I think they played Houston Texans. Was it Texas? I think it was the Texans. Well, last week they won the game. Yeah. Played well, rushed for a touch. No, they played the Cardinals. Played the Cardinals. Yes. Played well. Thought he played well yesterday. At Cardinals. Threw a couple of touchdown passes, ran for a touchdown. He played well. But it just, at that time, 21 of 27, 189, 2 touchdown passes. They ran the ball for 111 yards. He had 10 for 46. He was being Cam. But like I said, I just wish he hadn't done that. I didn't think it was necessary at that point in the game. And they got the work cut out for them because they really needed this ball game. I thought that was a ball game. I picked them to win that ball game. But they at Miami, some of these games, Buffalo, they've been struggling the last couple of weeks. And when they're getting beat, Skip, they're not getting beat, 24-21. Teams are hanging 40-plus on them. And they're not really in any of these ball games. But they got New Orleans and they got close at Tampa to end the season. Well, they got two Tampas. They got 2 Tampas and they end at Tampa, end at New Orleans. So they got their work cut out for them now if they plan on making the playoffs. But, Skip, I didn't like this. I did not like it.
I am generally with you on everything you just said. But I tried and tried in the back of my mind yesterday to give him a pass for this, because I do love him, and he is a great showman, and he's fun to watch because he's Cam Newton. Yeah. And he without apology, Cam will be Cam. And obviously, he can grandstand occasionally, he can chest beat occasionally, but it's part of the package of Cam being Cam. And yet, when I look back at this flashpoint moment of this game, he just made the play of the game, because that run, that's 24 yards on a read option, if we could see that. There he goes. And he looked like young, man. He looked like a young man running, right?
Yeah.
And it took my breath away, and so did this, because he follows it up by he was so full of himself at that point.
He pulled a T.O. Remember what T.O. did to the star?
Do I? And he goes all the way to the middle of the field. And I couldn't tell what he's yelling. It's I'm back or whatever, but he's Superman. And he slammed the ball down on the logo, okay? And yet, I'm thinking, wait a second, we got a lot of football game left here. You just went up 14-7, and this is 5:52 left in the second quarter, so you got a long way home. And guess what the Washington football team did from that point forward? It outscored the home team 20-7 to win the game. You tell me, if you're standing on the visiting sidelines and you see that, do you love it? No, you don't love it. No. Did it inspire you? Maybe. It'd be like, okay, let's make sure he doesn't do that to us again, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so, again, it was an electrifying moment from a guy, and the reason I tried to defend him in my head was he's been out of football. He has had to face his football mortality the way everybody does at some point. You had to face it. Like, is this the end?
Right.
At least you pretty much decided on your own, I can't do it anymore. The league looked like for a while it was deciding, Cam, we don't want you to do this anymore. So he had to look into the abyss of post-career. He had to worry about, what am I going to do with myself from here on? What if I don't have this game that I love? And out of nowhere, Sam Darnold falls on his face in Carolina, and all of a sudden they say, uh-oh, we got a problem here because we look bad with Sam Darnold. Let's go back and get Cam.
I mean, think about it, Skip. You throw the trash out, and then a year later, you go looking for that. You go looking for the trash. The trash that you
good.
Right. So well, we don't need Cam.
Oh, maybe
I thought they should have kept Cam at the beginning, but we'll discuss that another day.
And that city and that stadium and that crowd was electrified yesterday when he came out in the pregame introduction out of the smoke and fire.
Yep.
It was spectacular, and they were on fire for what was about to happen. And he did throw one more great touchdown pass to little McCaffrey.
Yeah. That was nice.
Yep, and that put them back to 21-all. This is pretty sweet. That was actually his best throw of the game. Yeah. Okay, so I buy that. He's never going to put up gaudy passing numbers like he did, remember, the first 2 games of his career. I don't know where they came from, but those were 400-yard days. Right. And since then, that hadn't happened again.
Right.
So he threw for 189, and I'm with you. I thought he was really good.
Yeah, 21 to 27, Skip. They ran the ball. But Washington did a great job of keeping them off the field, Skip. They had the ball 40 times for 190 yards.
Well, and they almost 36 minutes to 24 minutes. Well, so he didn't really have the ball very much.
So he might have had even better numbers had they could have gotten the ball back for
But little Tyler Taylor Heineke, that offense goes 8 of 15 on 3rd down, and Cam went 3 of 12. Well, that's just not good enough.
That's the difference in the ball game.
That's it right there. You can sum it up.
You got to make plays on 3rd down. You got to stay on the field.
Okay, and the 3 of 12 was actually 3rd and 4th down. Okay, so 3 of 12, that won't work.
Yeah.
So in the end, it was a great day for Cam without a conclusion because they lost.
Right.
And the flashpoint moment was slamming it on the logo.
Right.
And I'm sorry, I look back and I can read into this. You inspired the visiting team as much as you inspired your own team.
Exactly. But I mean, Skip, he was back. He was back home. I mean, him getting in the end zone, the crowd is going crazy.
That's enough, right?
I would have thought so. But clearly that's not what he thought.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Skip, for me is that, like I said, if he wanted to say, hey, guys, come on, let's go. We go into the center of the field.
Okay.
Because that's what I love that, and I'm glad the NFL don't deem that as taunting. When a guy get an interception, no matter what it is, they go way down, and they roll the balls, and they have these choreographed. I'm all for that, Skip. Because remember, Skip, before you couldn't celebrate as a team. Because your Cowboys got mad at the Fun Bunch. You remember the Fun Bunch used to do their thing. And I think it was Dennis Thurman that got in the middle.
And Dennis Thurman. He wanted to fight.
He did. He did. And so the NFL said, no more celebrating as a team. You can do what you need to do as an individual. Well, here we are now, but 4 or 5 years ago, Skip, they said, okay, you can celebrate as a team because you say this is the ultimate team game, but we can't celebrate with our team. So the NFL has allowed that. Had Cam, I would have been a little bit more accepting. I still wouldn't have liked it because, Skip, that's thought of. I like celebrations that's spontaneous. Yeah, okay, if you get the interception and, the Ocho Cinco and the T.O. with the pom-poms and all that stuff, I get that. But when you run way down to the logo and put the ball, that's too much for me. And I'm the king. I love celebrations. But that's too much for me, though.
If it's too much for you, that's
too much for me.
All right, I hear that.
Said the guy who wants skydive?
I did. Had to make an entrance.
Elbow last night against the Pistons. Was it dirty? Was it too much? Chris Broussard will join us.
No, not dirty.
Let's hear what Chris has to say. Maybe he'll settle this next. Letter grade, please.
He didn't pass. Now, I just want to know, Skip. What are we putting this on Odell? Are we blaming because Odell, Odell was there and Baker everybody, I've heard people that should know better say the pressure for Baker to throw the ball to Odell. So what was that yesterday? No Odell in sight. Odell announced news he about to be a father. He happy. Ain't bothering nobody. But let me guess. It's his shoulder. It's his knee. It's his back.
His foot.
Yeah, foot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Skip, this is awful. Now, they're very fortunate that they played the Lions because Tim Boyle almost beat. They ran the ball 36 rushes for 184 yards, 5.1. They got Nick Chubb back doing Nick Chubb-type things. And Baker Mayfield was barely 50%. Barely 50 with 2 picks. Now, I want to know who's responsible for this now that you remove the excuse machine, which is Odell. That narrative That Odell was the cause because Baker. You know why people are so upset? Because they want to make Baker elite. If you look at Baker Mayfield as an average quarterback, you wouldn't nearly be as upset. I'm not upset when he plays bad because I see him for what he is. It's the other people that try to make Baker elite. He's a first-round pick. Oh, we went to Oklahoma, and Baker, he's the Pied Piper. He's like, woo-woo! And everybody came marching in attention.
Yep.
All I know is what I see. Now, I kept telling you, he's the third best quarterback in that draft. He's not good as Lamar. He's not good as Josh Allen. Even though
you kept telling me Sam Darnold was the best quarterback in that draft.
Well,
Really?
Hey,
Really?
You know what, Skip?
Yikes.
He might be a